Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
She's been charged with unlawful sex activity with a minor.
I didn't set out to fall in love with a 16-year-old boy.
You're 30 years old. You need to get real here.
A mom engaged to a boy.
To us, this is not a crime.
Well, I'm sorry, but you don't make the law.
She had his baby on purpose.
You're a pedophile?
She called me a pedophile.
You are a pedophile.
A Dr. Phil exclusive.
You told me when you first met her she was 18.
You're coming up to us so negative.
You jacked his son. Don't give me that self-righteous crap like you're offended.
In love and illegal.
I feel like I have been set up.
You're playing the victim here. And lady, you're not the victim. You're the perpetrator. Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Pretty free. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. It seemed like the start of a modern-day romance. Two young people corresponding on Facebook, of course, right?
I met TJ through Facebook. He told me that I was cute, and then I told him, send me a message. He told me that he was 18. As the friendship progressed, I found out that he was 16.
Well, their friendship quickly turned into more. She called him the love of her life.
TJ is one of the most amazing individuals that I have met. I just don't see him as the love of my life or the man of my dreams. TJ is a person with a very kind heart. He's very affectionate, he's a very generous person, and intelligent as well. Some say that our love is wrong, but our personal belief is that it doesn't really matter how old you are. Love is love.
Well, 2 years later, this love affair became a media affair when their story broke on the evening news.
Her name is Melissa Dilan-Hernandez, and she's been charged with unlawful sex activity with a minor. Tonight, 10 News found a lot of information about Hernandez online.
Hello everyone, this is Melissa Dilan, and welcome to my blog, where you can find a lot of cool things. I hope that you enjoy it. Have a good one.
Dilan-Hernandez is out of jail and told police that the 17-year-old is her boyfriend. They live together and are planning on getting married.
Well, now TJ is 17. Melissa's 30. They are the proud parents of a 4-month-old baby girl. They say they plan to spend the rest of their lives together.
The moment that he proposed was particularly emotional. That is something that I did not expect, especially from a person his age. He came up with a ring. He just asked me if I was willing to marry him and spend the rest of my life with him, and without a doubt, I immediately said yes.
Well, the wedding could be on hold because the police say that Melissa could be facing up to 15 years in prison and have to register as a sex offender because she was charged with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. Now, Melissa says she doesn't feel like their love is a crime.
I want the world to know that TJ and I are in love and that we are both capable of fighting against any other person that would say that our love is not possible.
So, what's your goal today? What is it you want to achieve today by being here?
Okay, today I want to set the record straight.
Set it straight.
Exactly. I want to tell everyone that I am not a predator or a sex offender. And second, I want to prove that I didn't set out to fall in love with a 16-year-old boy. When I first met him...
He was 15 and a half.
He was 16 when I first met him.
I think it was 15 and a half, but go ahead.
He's now 17, and
Right.
he will be turning 18 next month.
Did any bells go off in your mind at that point that says, whoa, this is what's generally referred to as what's what I'm looking for? Felony.
I absolutely did not think that I was getting in trouble. Why? Because I did not have any intentions of causing any harm to TJ. I didn't know that their relationship was going to go that far and that we were going to go ahead and plan to have a child.
Well, no, but you did have sex very early on.
I did have sex with him. We had mutual understanding.
Consensual sex. Well, let's go back. Let me take you a step at a time here, because I'm fascinated with this, and we found out about this through the media. One of the producers read about this story, and it picked it up on our news scan. And I've always been fascinated. We see it with a lot of teachers and not teachers, that where you have adults that are in their 20s, 30s, and older, that get into intimate relationships, emotional and sexual, with children.
Correct.
And you're one of those people. You're 30 now, and you have a teenage father of a baby. So what is it that people don't understand? Because I want to get the facts out. The facts are, you're an adult, and he was a child. You entered into a sexual relationship. Factual so far?
Yes.
There's nothing misjudged about that. Those are the facts.
Yes.
Can't change the facts. Those are the facts. Okay, so where does the misjudgment come in, the misinterpretation?
That I don't want to be considered as a predator. It was not my intention to go ahead and look for TJ and specifically go ahead and try to have sex with him. We were online. We started getting to know each other. We had a connection, especially emotional. We did not plan on having a sexual encounter or anything like that.
2 years ago, when she was 28, she began developing a relationship with TJ, a then 15-year-old boy, you say 16. Now TJ and Melissa have a baby, and they say the baby was not a mistake. It was planned. Take a look.
I love you too.
What attracted me to Melissa was the fact that she isn't like every other girl where I live, doing drugs and drinking and going to clubs. She's the most beautiful girl I've ever met, and that means a lot to me. The pregnancy was my idea. I wanted to have a baby, and that's what we did. The money that I bring in, I pay for food, and I take care of half the week's rent every now and then. It's just good. It feels good to provide. I'm going to try and get into the military, join the police force. If the whole military thing doesn't work out for me, I can get into some kind of a modeling career. That would be good. I'd like people to know I'm not a stupid boy. I'm a man and I'm a father, and I'm just trying to do what's right to take care of my family. I do have one thing that I'd like to say, and it's kind of like a thing for Dr. Phil. Like, I want to know what his opinion is. I want to know what his outlook on the whole thing is.
That's a fair question. And you want my professional opinion just straight up, right?
Yep.
And I'll give it to you in a minute. And some of it you'll probably like, and some of it you may not, but I'll tell you what I think. So how's it going between you two?
Really good, actually. You know, I really love her. She's a good person. She's a good mother. And I came here to really profess my love.
So she's a good mother. What do you have to compare that to? Your own mother?
Well, my mother left me when I was about 8 years old.
Right.
She disappeared. Me and my sister struggled a lot since she's been gone. And, you know, now I have a stepmother. And at times, you know, I feel like she can be a little disrespectful to me, and sometimes it feels like she doesn't care. But I know she's trying her best. Mm-hmm. But what I see in her, she's always attending to the children. She's always going up to them, "Are you okay? I love you," giving them kisses, feeding them, you know, pampering them, everything. And it's a wonderful thing. So
how are you guys as husband and wife?
We're good. Sometimes there's arguments, you know, but that's expected in every relationship. We're just trying to make the best of it.
Yeah. Do you think you'll be together long term?
I do, actually. I'd really like to marry her on my 18th birthday.
Yeah. she's looking at 15 years in prison. And given the magnitude of the offense here, she could well do 15 years. Are you prepared to wait for her for 15 years?
Well, I would like to wait for her, and in my own opinion, I don't really think she's going to go to prison because it's her first offense. She's never been in trouble with the law before, and what we have here is real.
So you asked me what I thought here.
Yes.
Do I think this could work or not work? Do I think it's a good idea? Do I think it's a bad idea? So here's what I do. Here's what I do. I look at the risk factors. And I've done an assessment of what I think the risk factors are that I see, what the good things are, what the bad things are. And I want to do a risk analysis on this, go over it with you and see what you guys think. So when I come back, I'm going to give you a risk analysis of what I think this relationship is and get you guys to tell me, given those factors, what you think they are. I'll be right back. You face 15 years, prison sentence. You're living in a motel room. The police were called to that room 7 times. Do you think those things jeopardize the viability of this relationship? And later...
You're a pedophile?
She called me a pedophile.
You are a pedophile.
Across this great country, from coast to coast, you've told me about the crossroads we're facing. That's exactly why I wrote We've Got Issues, How You Can Stand Strong for America's Soul and Sanity. This book isn't just a conversation starter. It's a roadmap for standing strong in the face of adversity, for embracing our core values when they're needed most. We're talking about real strategies for real people dealing with real issues, from navigating the complexities of today's polarized world to fortifying our families. And I set forth in the book 10 principles that I think are critical for a healthy society. This is not about politics. I'm not a politician, don't want to be a politician, don't know enough about politics to talk about it. But I talk about every angle of life as we know it, from family and relationships to the burning issues that are shaping our world today. We've got issues, how you can stand strong for America's soul and sanity. And you'll find it anywhere books are sold. It's about time we start addressing what truly matters.
On Oops, the podcast, join me, comedian Giulio Gallerati, as I examine everyday life, the mistakes, the bad decisions, the goals, the jokes, the social engagements, and all things in between. I'm joined every week by producer and personal confidant Ryan Lynch, various other comedians, for witty, candid, and intoxicating conversation. Our listeners love Oops for its sophisticated banter, aka your mom could listen, and many feel like they're in the room with us chopping it up with old pals. You can find every episode of this show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube.
Okay, we're back, and I'm talking to Melissa and TJ, and Melissa and TJ have a child. It's 4 months old. It's from a relationship that started when TJ was 15 and you were 28. I did a risk analysis on this. Let's see what I consider the risk factors are. And here's one. You're currently out on bail and charged with unlawful sexual act with certain minors, and you face 15 years prison sentence and having to register as a registered sex offender on the federal registry. I would put that in the negative column, right? Mm-hmm. It'd be a negative risk factor.
I would like to add something to that, Dr. Phil.
It gets worse?
No. There could be actually a difference if I had an attorney. At the moment, I do not have a paid attorney because I can't afford it.
So on point 1, we should say prison sentence pending, no attorney. You're currently living in a motel room with a 3-year-old and your 4-month-old child.
Yes.
Correct? In the month of September alone, the police were called to that hotel room 7 times for domestic complaints between you two.
Right.
7 times.
Well, we get into arguments sometime, like I said, but it doesn't get physical, it doesn't get crazy.
It never has gotten physical.
I have a firm belief that a man should never put his hands on a woman, and I will always stand by that.
And he never has.
You have 2 older sons that are currently in the custody of an ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
and you haven't seen them in over a year.
I haven't.
You made a conscious decision to have a child with a minor.
I did not decide to have a child with a minor. We both planned on.
Well, it was my idea.
Your dream job is to be a journalist with a recognized publisher.
It is.
But you're concerned how this might reflect on your hireability being on the registered sex offender list.
I am concerned about this, but this is what I came here for, so that I could get some advice from you to see if I can, is there a way to stop the judgment? That's why I came here, to speak out for myself and to demonstrate that I am not a predator.
Put your journalist hat on. Those are risk factors. Do you think those things jeopardize the viability of this relationship? Would those be pros or would those be cons?
No, I think those are things that we can definitely overcome once everything has been settled. TJ is a very mature person. And even though we have faced situations and problems, we are very much disposed to fight this situation.
As well as each other.
You know, is there anyone out here that has a perfect marriage or a perfect relationship?
Well, no, but Robin and I have been practicing for 40 years and we haven't had the cops called on us once.
Good job.
Well, maybe you haven't, Dr. Phil, but there might be a little bit of misunderstandings in the beginning, but eventually those are things that can be worked out.
Okay, let's take a break. TJ's stepmom has very strong opinions about this relationship and what his dad has to say as well when we come back. I don't like it when somebody comes out here and lies to me. Did you or did you not lie to him on the phone about your age?
My mom left me when I was 6 or 7 years old, and I don't know why she did, and I really love her, I miss her. My stepmom, she's always been against me on certain things. I was just looking for the nurturing and care that a mother has to offer, and she didn't really provide that much of it. The thing with Melissa is she is a wonderful mother, and the only person that I could see myself with is a woman who's going to take care of her children, who's not going to abandon them, and that's how she is.
Well, that was now 17-year-old TJ. He says he is in love with his 30-year-old girlfriend and mother of his 4-month-old child. The problem is she's facing a prison sentence because he's a minor. TJ's stepmom, C, says that this is not love, it's a crime. Take a look.
Melissa is a pedophile because she knew TJ was 15 when they first met up. She knew it was wrong. She was the adult. When I first found out about Melissa, I felt like my head was going to explode. I said, she's a grown woman, and it's illegal. You need to break this off. It's not right. It's creepy. And to me, there's something wrong with her that she wants a little boy. The only thing I would want to say to Melissa is, you're a pedophile, you're a predator. You need to stop, get some psychiatric help, and if you must have a relationship, go find a man. There's a lot of them out there.
Well, now when TJ's father, Ed, found out about this relationship, he says he tried to stop it from the very beginning.
When I met Melissa, I thought she was in her 20s. I knew she wasn't 18. I asked her, what are you doing with my son? He's a boy. You're a woman. She said she was in love with him and he was in love with her. When I told TJ, he kind of freaked. I told him, these things don't work with this big an age difference. You're a teenage boy. You've got all this stuff ahead of you. And she doesn't realize what you've got to go through. I have tried to raise him the right way. I've tried to teach him right from wrong. TJ, I think, is out for TJ, and that's it. He only thinks of himself. The thing that's changed in all this is now TJ is a father. That's a big game changer. You have to be responsible for your kid. I don't think he understands the whole big picture of it.
Fatherhood is tough. Changing diapers is no fun.
I don't even know if TJ knows what love is yet. At 17, do you know what love is? What for the rest of your life is? I don't think so. What I've never said to Melissa was, I wish you'd never met my son. Because I think he ruined his life over this relationship. He wanted to go into the Marines. He wanted to become a police officer. And those dreams are all gone now.
Okay, so tell me, you guys have been watching the show up till now.
Yeah.
TJ asked me what my opinion was of this situation, and I said, let's just assess it, take a look at the risk factors here, what the current state of affairs is. What do you guys think? What do you have to add?
Well, for one thing, they came out and said they didn't lie about her age, which is, you told me when you first met her she was 18.
No, I said 23.
No, yeah, well, that's a lie too, because she wasn't 23 either. She was 28. You guys did not practice with her saying, so when I asked what year were you born, you didn't practice her saying 1988, so the numbers would come out right? You told me you practiced.
Okay.
So you didn't lie about her age.
Well, let me ask about that. Mm-hmm. Did you lie to me when I asked you about that?
Oh, no, absolutely. I always told TJ how old I was. He probably told his father that I was younger than what I really am so that he wouldn't.
TJ says he told his father that you two practiced your birth date, so if you had to come up with it, it would be where you were 23. So you were complicit in the lie.
I simply understood what he was going to say. I did not say no. I didn't say yes.
I didn't ask you on the phone what year were you born.
Now, what
you
I
didn't
don't
tell me
understand,
1988.
What I don't understand here, Ed, is that I know that there was a concern from you in the beginning.
Right.
There was. But then as time went by, and as soon as you found out how old I was, yes, you were still concerned. Yeah. But we got to do a lot of things together. We went out, we attended family events. You gave yourself the chance to get to know me better.
Hold on, let me interrupt here.
I don't know why you're coming off to me like that today.
I just want an answer to my question, because I don't like it when somebody comes out here and lies to me. Did you or did you not lie to him on the phone about your age?
I didn't.
Okay, so you did not get on the phone and say to him you were born in 88. So he's lying. Maybe that's why he's turning on you here, because you're calling him a liar.
The only way you guys can be together for now is if you both promise me there's going to be no sex. Now, maybe I was a little naive thinking that there wouldn't be, but they both told me, oh, no, there won't be any sex between us.
And you believe that?
I believe that. Well, I don't know. It was stupid to believe it. Looking back, I realize that. But TJ, if TJ doesn't get his way, TJ has fits or runs away or things like that. No matter what I did with TJ, I let him do this, that falls. I told her, I said, as long as his grades stay up and he stays in school.
Well, did you agree with him that you wouldn't have sex with him till he was 18? If you think that we're here to assassinate your character, I can hand you a couple of cards here of information about you that I have not gone over. And you know what's on them.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Did you agree with him that you wouldn't have sex with him till he was 18?
I don't remember him asking me that.
Okay. Did you agree with him that you would? Did you agree with him that he would stay in school till he graduated?
That I was going to be very supportive, but I do not own TJ. He makes his own decisions. There's something here that's not making a lot of sense, Ed. You were being really supportive with us. How come all of a sudden you're coming up to us so negative?
I want you guys to do one of two things. Either get some help and get along and stop fighting about everything, Okay, and it's not all your fault. He lies to you.
We both spend time together, and we both
Can I finish? You asked me a question.
Together, we both have a very strong emotional link.
Okay.
I understand.
Can I finish now?
Okay.
All right. Either you get help and stop fighting and stay together, or you turn around and walk away from each other. Just last week, he was saying he was going to ruin you when you had that big fight, and you didn't want him there. You said, that's it, I'm done. And what did he do?
He said that because he said that if I broke up with him, that would be the end of his life, so he would ruin me.
Right, and is that love?
Yeah, but no, it's not exactly like that.
Someone's going to ruin your
Sometimes
life?
when you have a fight and you say things, you don't necessarily mean them.
I never tell her I'm going to ruin her life.
No, he said that, it means that I actually have to take it like that. Because sometimes you say things that after an hour you say, oh my gosh, I really shouldn't have said that.
Excuse me for a second. What I meant by that is that if we were to break up, everyone would find out about it.
Yeah.
Okay, she's been on the news. I'm here right now, you know, and if we had broken up, I'm sorry, but her life would have been ruined.
No, that's not what you said.
Well, I mean, if I didn't stay by her side.
You had a whole list of TV shows in your hand, and you said, I'm going to call every one of these shows, and I'm going to ruin her life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I'm not against you.
You are against me.
I just want you to straighten out your life.
Hey, listen, come on. Hey, wait a minute. You two talk to me for just a second, okay?
Okay.
And you need to get real here, lady. Okay? No, come on. Come on. You come out here with this high-handed, self-righteous chip on your shoulder. Say, I want this to be positive about our love. What do you mean coming off negative? You jacked his son. You're 30 years old, you're having an affair with his minor son, and you're criticizing him because you've been nice to me, and now you're coming off negative. Dr. Phil, I want this to be positive. I want to set the record straight. I gave you the floor to set the record straight, and you had not doodly squat to say.
Dr. Phil, the only thing, we are here today to prove that the relationship was real, not that, you know, we would come up here with a fighting range.
You said you came here, you wanted to prove the relationship is real, so I put up the snapshot of your relationship. You're living in a motel room with 2 children. You have 2 boys, you have 2 children you haven't seen in a year. The cops came to your hotel room 7 times in a month. He's threatening to ruin you. You're continuing to fight, and you want me to stand up here and pretend like, oh, yes, it's okay. People just need to give you a chance. Come on, get real.
What I don't understand is...
Don't give me that self-righteous crap like you're offended. Get offended if you want to get offended. I don't care.
I totally understand. I totally understand your point of view. I definitely do. What I don't understand is, Ed, if you were against our relationship, why did you act like a real father-in-law with me throughout all this time, and then all of a sudden you changed?
I was against your relationship until that baby was born. When that baby was born, that did change things for me.
We both went out together before the baby was born.
When did we go out together?
We both went out together.
What is your point?
My point is that I feel like I am terribly judged by you when you weren't like that with me the whole entire time.
I have tried to help you guys, talk to you guys. You call me at 2:30 in the morning screaming hysterical because you're fighting.
That's okay.
You can speak, but let me tell you something. If you think that we're here to assassinate your character, I can hand you a couple of cards here of information about you that I have not gone over, and you know what's on them. Because I don't want to go there. So don't play that card and sad sack look with me, lady. I'm trying to deal with the facts here. If you continue telling yourself, well, you know, I didn't know he was a minor at the time. What are you shaking your head for? You asked me for some advice. I'll give you some advice. You need to get out of denial and recognize that you are in a lot of trouble. You are in a lot of trouble here. And if you continue telling yourself, well, you know, I didn't know he was a minor at the time, You said you decided on purpose to have... What are you shaking your head for? Is there something I'm saying that is inaccurate?
Because he said that he would come here and stay supportive.
I did not say I would say supportive.
Excuse me. Supportive of what?
Of the relationship.
Really?
Yeah.
Supportive of a felonious relationship with his son.
Supportive of the relationship. Isn't that right?
He did.
Wow. So we're going to have the tail wagging the dog here. You've run away 40 times. You've run away 40 times. You've dropped out of school. You have no steady job. You've now brought a child into the world. You have no plan of moving forward. And we're going to let you guys start making the decisions. If she goes in for 15 years, you know you're not going to be there for 15 years when she comes out. You know, the fans, not the players. You know, come on. And you want advice from me? I'll tell you my advice from me. You need to have better judgment. You say, I want to be a career journalist. You don't get a career journalist with a trademark publication by having a felony record for sleeping with children. That's not a good resume item. Okay? You've got to think about that in advance.
Funny.
I don't think it's funny at all.
I don't think it's funny either.
I don't think it's funny at all.
He was acting like Peaches and Crib with me like a few days ago.
Melissa, I have never.
She called me a pedophile. I didn't call her name.
You are a pedophile.
Because I didn't call her name.
You are a pedophile.
I am not.
You asked me honestly.
You never.
Hush. Hush.
I am not going to charge. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I am going to stand up for myself.
You've been.
No,
let me talk.
I have always offered this chance for us to meet so that you could get to know me.
And you asked me on the phone last week, why have you never wanted to meet me and hang out with me? And I gave you a straightforward answer. I said, I don't want to meet you and hang out with you because you're a pedophile. You've ruined my stepson's life. You're a predator. And I don't hang out with people like that.
I did not ruin TJ's life. He decided to drop out of school so he could be a responsible parent. That doesn't mean that is the end of his life.
Let me say something here, and then we're going to take a break.
He has a chance to finish school.
Let me say something here.
Yes.
And I want to say this to you from a legal standpoint as well as a commonsensical standpoint. And listen, I'm not a lawyer, but as I say, I have worked as a legal psychologist, and I understand precisely what I'm getting ready to tell you. You said you made the decision, and this is going to be painful for you to hear, but you can't make that decision. Because you see, under the law, children do not have the capacity for informed consent. The reason they have the rule of statutory rape is because the law believes that children do not have the capacity to consent to an adult act. So when you say, I made the decision, this was voluntary. She didn't force this on me. I made the decision. The truth is, the law deems that children don't have the ability to decide to enter into an intimate act with an adult. So you don't have the ability to give her permission in the eyes of the law. Also, you don't have the ability to do that from a psychological standpoint either. And I don't mean this in a condescending way, but your brain isn't through growing. Your brain will grow until you're 25. And the last part of the brain that grows is the neocortex. And that's where the reasoning centers are. And that's where the part of the brain is that allows you to predict the consequences of your actions. That's the reason children are considered to have limited capacity and an inability to give consent. So you cannot give consent, either legally or psychologically, to enter into the relationship that you are in with her. That's why she is culpable and you are not, and we'll be right back.
She's not a predator. She wasn't hunting me down. She wasn't looking to have sex with minors. And I'm going to keep fighting it because I don't think it's fair that she goes to prison.
Melissa has been charged by the police with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors because, according to the police, she had sex with TJ when she was 28 and he was only 16. She is facing up to 15 years in prison. TJ says that's a long time.
When TJ and Melissa have a fight, TJ gets very threatening. Probably around a year ago, they had a big blowout. He got caught talking to another girl, and he decided, he said, "Dad, take me to the police. I'm going to turn Melissa in." And I said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" He said, "Yeah, I'm done with her." I said, "All right, fine." I took him to the police. He filled out a report. Of course, 2 days later, they were back together. He's like, "Dad, why did I do that?" I said, "You know, you're going to have to live with this."
To my understanding, it was not TJ who went to the authorities. It was one of his relatives.
She's not a predator. She wasn't hunting me down. She wasn't looking to have sex with minors. And I'm going to keep fighting it because I don't think it's fair that she goes to prison for something like that.
I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose our kids.
Well, I promise nothing bad is going to happen to you because I love you. I'm going to take care of you.
I am willing to prove to them and to anybody else that I never had any bad intentions with DJ, that we were both friends and that we both fell in love with each other and that we want to be together forever.
If she goes to prison for 15 years, 15 years is a long time, and I am young. As much as I'd want to wait for her, I'd wait for a few years, but at a certain point I would just have to move on.
For a few years.
No.
What do you want to say?
Well, what I have to say is, my dad was supportive. He was. Mm-hmm. When that baby was born, he was supportive. You know, he knew we were together. He knew I was living there for a long time. And for him to come on here and say some of the things that he said, it shocks me. It really does.
Let me tell you what your father said to us.
Okay.
Off camera, backstage. Here's exactly what he said to us. He said he was absolutely against this when he found out about it, did everything he could to try to stop it. He said when this baby was born, he said he did a complete 180. He said, at that point, I recognize there's now a child involved. My son has a child. And he said at that point, he said, it's kind of like I got to be the calm in the middle of the storm here. I love this baby. I'm going to be supportive in this situation. And I tell you, I read everything that he said, and I came away as a father. Mm-hmm. I read you as saying, you know what? In all likelihood, she's going to be so gone so fast, and I'm going to be there for my son and that child, and I am going to be supportive. If she were to stay in a situation, fine. If she goes, fine. But I'm going to be a positive, and I think he stepped up for you and your baby. And I have not heard him say one thing inconsistent with that here today.
But I do
for
love
him to be
Melissa.
happy about the fact that this woman came in and got involved with you and purposely had a baby when you're still a teenager, he's not happy about. I don't think he's ever been inconsistent about that. And I think he was before today, is now as he sits here, and will after this show continue to be supportive of the situation as it is now. And I think it is very grandiose of him to do that.
Right. I want you to respect the fact that I love her. I really do.
Melissa, you say, I want to be a journalist. Well, then you know what? Don't go out and commit crimes, because criminals don't become journalists.
But to me and to us, this is not a crime.
Well, I'm sorry, but you don't make the laws. You are just governed by them.
I couldn't help. We couldn't help to
Well,
fall in
write
love
your
with
congressman then. Change the law. But right now, that is the law. Listen, I spent 15 years. Listen, hear me. This is valuable advice.
I am.
This is valuable advice. I spent 15 years as a litigation consultant. I lived in trial. That's how I wound up here. I represented Oprah. I represented all the networks. I spent time in trial. I prepared witnesses. And I promise you, if you take this attitude to trial, they will put you under the jail. You can't go in there with this defiant, just, hey, it's just what I wanted to do. He was almost old enough. That just doesn't work.
It's not that this is the way that I want to be. It's just I feel so pressured and so judged right now. It's like nobody really knows who I really am. I want the chance. I want the chance for people to get to know me. I am not a predator.
But what do you want us to go home with you and live in the motel room for a week? What do you...
No, but I decided to speak up about this situation. I did not set out to go after him.
Okay, let me tell you something. I'm honest to God trying to help you here. And you need to get something or you're there. There is a way you can get through this without doing 15 years. There's a way you can go through this without doing 15 years in jail. But with the attitude you've got, you're playing the victim here. And lady, you're not the victim, you're the perpetrator. And you got to own that. And do you get that? Do you get that? You don't get that, do you? You don't think you've done anything wrong, do you?
I feel like I have been set up.
Set up?
No, I'm trying to get you help.
Not 5 minutes ago, I said, I'm going to tell you how you can stay out of jail. You just totally blew me off and kept telling your victim story. Let me tell you something. If I were you and I had stepped up and said, you want to know how to stay out of jail? I believe I'd have shut my mouth and opened my ears. But that's just me. Well, you know, Albert Einstein said it pretty well. He said, you'll never solve problems using the same thinking that you created them with. You got to move over and come up with some new thinking. And I certainly think that that's true in this case. You need some new thinking. If you're looking for advice on what to do with teens that are out of control or blindsided by love, log on to drphil.com. Thanks for being here. So long.